Multiple Ferraris already and a long history with the brand. For their $1.85 million, they'll also get 1 or 2 helmets, bespoke driver's overhauls, and shoes. It's our time for Now. News 3 at 5 starts right after this.
Right now at 5, why state lawmakers are returning to the Capitol the week after the November election.
A Rock County man is in custody after being accused of choking and attacking a woman.
And a new study says more than half of Wisconsin students are performing below average on standardized tests. We'll tell you what an area's superintendent is saying about those results.
This is News 3 at 5.
Thanks for staying with News 3. State lawmakers plan to return to Madison next month for an extraordinary session.
Governor Walker and Senate Majority Leader Scott Fitzgerald made the announcement today, saying lawmakers intend to vote on a tax incentive package for Kimberly Clark. But the question is, will they have the votes? Rose Schmidt explains.
Governor Walker and his opponent, Tony Evers, were both on the campaign trail today, with Governor Walker appearing here at this manufacturer in Richland Center, and Tony Evers appearing in the Green Bay area. On both of their minds is a plan designed to keep a Kimberly Clark plant in Fox Crossing open. The controversial plan to give the company up to $100 million in tax breaks hasn't gotten a vote in the Senate because some Republican senators aren't yet on board. But the governor is blaming Democrats.
And Democrats say that you don't have the votes?
We don't. That's no shock. I don't know, act like it's surprising. We don't, because no Democrat has publicly said they'd vote for it.
Democrat Tony Evers has been skeptical of the plan. He's blaming Republicans for not finding a bipartisan plan.
This could have been solved and should have been solved months ago. Kimberly Clark and its difficulties in surviving are not a new issue.
The bill has already passed the state assembly, which Speaker Robin Vos and Representative Gordon Hintz lead.
If you have the opportunity for a technologically huge investment in our state like Foxconn, or to keep an anchor corporation who has been here literally for over 100 years, I think we need to do what we can.
And it's unclear to me what they'll actually be taking up. Is this something that will guarantee these voters will stay here? Is it just for this facility? Does it ensure all of Kimberly Clark's jobs in Wisconsin? So we'll have to see.
Lawmakers plan to come back to the Capitol to vote on the plan a week after the November election, when there's a chance power in the Senate could change.
We believe after the election they'll set politics aside and they'll ultimately be in a spot so that both Democrats and Republicans can vote for it.
Evers isn't so sure.
So for the governor to suddenly decide, well, and the legislature and the Republicans to say this is going to happen after the election, I think that's just passing a buck.
A spokesperson for Kimberly Clark says they won't make any decisions until after the extraordinary session next month. In Richland Center, I'm Rose Schmidt for WISC News 3.
Speaker Vos said he'd be open to considering other bills when lawmakers come back next month, particularly a bill guaranteeing health insurance for people with pre-existing conditions.
A man charged with stabbing his roommate to death has been sentenced. Ronald Rideau Jr. pleaded guilty to first-degree reckless homicide, was sentenced to 25 years state prison, 15 years extended supervision. This happened in June of 2017 in the 1000 block of West Badger Road in Madison. Police say 52-year-old Gerald Moore died of multiple stab wounds. Rideau admitted to stabbing Moore.
A Rock County woman is in the hospital today after police say a man attempted to kill her.
This happened last night on the east side of Beloit. Rock County reporter Adam Duxter joins us from our bureau at the Janesville Gazette with what neighbors are saying today. Adam?
Well, Eric and Susan, police say last night 29-year-old Jonathan Castro attempted to choke and then beat a woman while the two were in his Beloit home. Now, Castro is in police custody today and could face up to 6 separate charges, including first-degree attempted homicide. The woman, who police are not naming, was taken to Mercy Hospital in Janesville with a skull fracture. Neighbors I talked to today say they were shocked to see what happened.
Came outside to walk my dogs last night. It's like the entire Beloit Police Department was here. It was from here all the way down and around.
The neighbor I talked to says he was nervous because he knew there was a baby in the home. And Beloit police told me today that the baby is safe after being taken to Child Protective Services. Castro is expected to make his first appearance in court tomorrow. Coming up at 6, we'll hear more from police as well as resources for domestic violence in the area.
Adam Duxter reporting in Janesville tonight. Adam, thank you.
A former Madison police officer charged with OWI with a child in the car has entered a plea. 42-year-old Kelly Heft pleaded guilty to first offense operating while intoxicated with a passenger under 16 years old today in Dane County Court. Another charge was dismissed. It happened on McKenna Road at Raymond Road in June of 2017. A citizen reported seeing a vehicle driven by Heft go through the intersection and take out road signs in the median. Heft's breathalyzer revealed she was more than 3 times over the legal driving limit. A 5-year-old child was in the back seat of the vehicle at the time. She is scheduled to be sentenced in December. 3
female students at a Madison high school are facing tentative charges in connection to a fight yesterday that injured an officer. Madison police say a 15-year-old, 16-year-old, and 17-year-old are all facing disorderly conduct charges after officers and staff at West High School tried to break up a fight. During the dispute, a school official was inadvertently punched by one of those girls. Because of that, one girl was arrested on suspicion of battery. West High's resource officer suffered a broken bone in his hand.
Let's get a check on the weather now. Gary Canalti is in the Weather Center. Gary?
Things are pretty quiet out there right now, Susan and Eric, but could change for tomorrow. In fact, we have an alert day in the forecast for tomorrow, mainly tomorrow night, for a round of strong to severe thunderstorms that could sweep through here during the evening hours. High winds, hail, and brief heavy rainfall are possible at that line of storms. Now, visible cloud tracking, see plenty of clouds across the state of Wisconsin, but thicker clouds to our south and west are actually with a warm front, and skies are actually starting to clear across southern Iowa as that warm front lifts northward. Ahead of the front, there are some showers, a couple of isolated thunderstorms in southern Minnesota. Those will reach us later on tonight. Once those lift to the north, we'll be in the warm air for tomorrow, and that could set up the potential for some severe weather. And the Storm Prediction Center has us under a slight risk of severe weather for tomorrow with an enhanced risk farther up to the north. Low temperatures this morning started out in the lower 50s. A few places were in the upper 40s, but current temperatures are in the middle 50s. These temperatures will hold steady through the evening hours and actually start rising overnight into the lower 60s by tomorrow morning. That's because winds are shifting to the southeast and eventually to the south of that warm front. And by tomorrow morning, those temperatures will be in the lower 60s. We'll see some breaks in the clouds tomorrow. That'll get high temperatures into the upper 70s. Again, possibility for some severe weather tomorrow evening. That's your first alert forecast.
Gary, thank you. More than half of all students in Wisconsin are performing below average on standardized tests, particularly in English and math. That's according to a new study released by the Department of Public Instruction.
The study finds racial disparities and socioeconomic factors are the main factors in that finding. Our Jamie Perez spoke with the superintendent of Marshall Public Schools, the lowest ranking school in that study, and she's in the newsroom now with his reaction to the study. Jamie?
So I did speak with the Marshall superintendent, but I just want to point out that this is not just happening at Marshall Public Schools. This study focused on all schools in Wisconsin and how many of them are not performing as well as they would like. So at Marshall Public Schools in particular, though, the study found that 41 to 49% of students perform below the basic level in math and English, and there are some varying factors that contribute to why these scores are so low. The current superintendent has only been there for a year, so he can't necessarily speak to why students haven't done well in the past, but says it's his goal that under his time there, he will do everything he can to improve those test scores that he says he's not too happy with.
Society right now is demanding more and more support in our schools, and we're just like all other districts. We're having those conversations. How can we most successfully meet our students' needs so they do have successful classrooms.
To add on how he wants to improve, he says surveys will be conducted and sent out to parents, teachers, and students on how the district can improve overall to get their students up to par with better test percentages and hopefully decrease that academic disparity. Now, coming up tonight at 6, what the superintendent says the school needs to do better in and invest their resources in going forward to get the students to the level of academic success he knows they can reach.
We will see you at 6. Thanks, Jamie.
A Wisconsin man who lost part of his forearms and legs after contracting a rare blood infection from dog saliva is being praised by his doctor for his determination to walk again with prosthetics. Doctors discharged Greg Manteifel 2 weeks ago after at least 10 surgeries since late June. Surgeons amputated parts of his limbs because circulation to his arms and legs shut down. He was diagnosed with a blood infection caused by a bacteria common in the saliva of cats and dogs that almost never leads to illness.
Oh, it means everything to still have my mind and my organs, you know. Some people lose their organs or, you know, stuff like that. And it just means everything to still be like almost 100%.
Doctors say he lost the skin of his nose, upper lip, and will have nasal reconstruction surgery and reconstruction of his upper lip within the next year.
The World Dairy Expo is underway at the Alliant Energy Center in Madison. This year's expo will include informational seminars on key issues for dairy farmers, including low milk prices, which have put a strain on many Wisconsin families. There will be competitions outside the cattle and trade shows, along with many social and business opportunities. This year's theme is New Frontier, as organizers hope to get younger generations interested in farming and push the industry forward.
We really need to be planning and setting the stage for the next 10 years in this dairy industry. And really our goal as show hosts is to provide a hospitable, welcoming, customer service mindset at every step of the way with every interaction that we have with our attendees.
Tickets to the World Dairy Expo are $12 a day or $35 for the week. There are free shuttles available to and from the Alliant Energy Center to several downtown Madison hotels.
Game times for the Brewers. First 3 National League Division Series games have been released. The Brewers will play on Thursday, 4:07 first pitch, and then Friday, 3:15 p.m. first pitch at Miller Park. Both games that'll air on FS1. Milwaukee will then be off Saturday, but then play either at Chicago or in Denver against the Rockies on Sunday, 3:37 p.m. That game will be on MLB Network. The Brewers will play the winner of the Rockies-Cubs wild card game tonight. Is being played 7 o'clock. First pitch at Wrigley Field. And there is more to come tonight on News 3 at 5. Up next, Vegas police opening up a sexual assault investigation involving the soccer superstar Cristiano Ronaldo.
And the FBI is continuing its background investigation into sexual misconduct accusations surrounding Judge Brett Kavanaugh.
And on Wall Street, the Dow up more than 122 points today. The Nasdaq tumbles almost 38. The S&P down 1. We'll be right back.
Will your law
Las Vegas police have reopened a sexual assault investigation involving soccer superstar Cristiano Ronaldo.
The alleged victim, Catherine Mayorga, told a German magazine Ronaldo assaulted her and raped her in 2009. Mayorga says she reported the assault to police almost immediately. She claims the attack left her with post-traumatic stress disorder and suicidal thoughts, that Ronaldo's fixers exploited her, coercing her into taking a $375,000 settlement. Police later closed the criminal case without filing charges. The Portuguese soccer player is denying the accusation.
And the FBI continuing to expand its background investigation into sexual misconduct accusations against Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh. The FBI has now interviewed high school friends of Kavanaugh and Dr. Christine Blasey Ford, who says Kavanaugh tried to assault her when both were teens. Two of those friends previously said they did not recall the gathering. Mark Judge, identified as a witness by Dr. Ford, has also completed his interview with the FBI. The results of this investigation will not be made public. Meanwhile, both parties continue to accuse each side of dirty tactics as the investigation continues.
Republican colleagues are sort of pulling their hair out because they know their candidate is so flawed.
This has not been a search for the truth. This has been about search and destroy.
The FBI has until Friday to conclude its background check on allegations of sexual misconduct against Judge Brett Kavanaugh.
Diplomats from other countries who want their same-sex partners to live with them here in the U.S. are facing a new hurdle from the Trump administration. Under a new policy, if they are not married, they are no longer entitled to visas. Partners already in the United States must show proof of marriage by the end of the year or leave. The State Department says the new directive ensures equal treatment and is in line with requirements for U.S. officials serving abroad. But critics say the policy change ignores the reality that same-sex marriage is not allowed in most of the world and could put some United Nations workers at risk.
Americans nationwide will receive an alert on their cell phones from President Trump for the first time ever tomorrow, but it won't be a personal message. It is the first test of a national presidential alert system that will let any president issue a warning about a crisis. That could include a missile launched by another country at the U.S. or a tsunami. Government agencies nationwide have issued more than 40,000 emergency alerts to cell phones since 2012, but those amber and weather alerts target specific regions. This new presidential alert will be nationwide.
One thing that we need to make very clear is that there are laws, policies, and procedures that are in place, other protocols to ensure that the system is used in accordance with its intended use as defined by the law.
And everyone will receive this alert. The test is scheduled for tomorrow at 1:18 p.m.
Let's head out to the weather patio now. Gary is watching the weather. Hi, Gary.
Hi. Hopefully we won't have any more alerts later on in the day because there's the potential for some severe weather later tomorrow evening. Let's start out by taking a look, first of all, at the 48-hour precipitation estimates. And about 1 to 3 inches or more of rain has fallen from around Platteville to just south of Madison over toward Janesville, with lesser amounts to the north and south of that area. Doppler track right now, though, free of precipitation, even though there are plenty of clouds around here. However, out to the west, you see some showers, a couple of isolated thunderstorms in southern Minnesota. This is actually with a surge of warmer air that's lifting to the east and northeast and will eventually cause our temperatures to be about 20 degrees warmer tomorrow at this time than they are now. But that will just set up a cold front to our west that will plow on through in the evening and bring the potential for some severe weather. So the Storm Prediction Center has a slight risk of severe thunderstorms over much of southern Wisconsin, an enhanced risk farther to the north across central and northern Wisconsin. That's the area most likely to either see the possibility for a few isolated tornadoes or maybe a line of thunderstorms producing a little more widespread wind damage potential as that line sweeps southeastward. By the time the line reaches us, it'll be mid to late evening, just past the time of peak heating of the day, so the storms might already be on a weakening trend, but a lot of it will just depend on when those storms reach us. So right now we have an alert day in the forecast for tomorrow, mainly tomorrow night. That's the best threat for seeing some severe weather tomorrow evening. High winds, hail, brief heavy rainfall a possibility. At this point, I don't think it's going to add much to the flooding potential because these storms will be fast moving. As we look at the live view for the Queen Bee Radio Skycam in Platteville, plenty of clouds there. The WISC Skycam here on the west side of Madison showing a pretty gloomy scene on the west side of Madison, and the Edgewater Skycam downtown Madison showing mostly cloudy skies over Lake Mendota. The almanac for today shows a cool day. Our temperatures this morning started out at 51, which is above normal, but our high of 56, almost 10 degrees below normal, although those temperatures may start climbing before midnight. We're at 55 now. Skies are cloudy. Winds out of the south-southeast at 5 miles per hour. Current temperatures are in the 50s across all of Wisconsin. A few 60s to the south. Notice Peru, Illinois, they're at 70 degrees, and there's 80s lurking just to the south of the map. Also, dew point temperatures in the 40s and 50s here in Wisconsin go up pretty quickly to our south. Dew point temperatures are in the 60s about as far north as the far southern suburbs of Chicago, but in central and southern Illinois, those dew point temperatures are in the 70s. So that moisture will be pulled northward as that warm front swings through during the overnight hours. So for tonight, look for a low of 53, probably just a couple of degrees cooler than we are now. Then temperatures start rising toward tomorrow morning. We'll probably be in the low 60s by morning. There's a slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm overnight. Tomorrow, variable cloudiness, windy and milder, high of 79 degrees on brisk southerly winds, but there is a slight chance for a shower or thunderstorm late in the day. The better chances will arrive tomorrow night. As we take a look at future track, you can see generally cloudy skies overnight, slight chance for a shower or thunderstorm. Temperatures climbing to the low 60s by morning. Those southerly winds kick in, some breaks in the clouds occur. We're in the upper 70s to lower 80s by this time tomorrow. But tomorrow night, you can see that line of thunderstorms sweeping on through. Then it clears out and turns much cooler. Temperatures drop into the mid-40s by Thursday morning, and highs on Thursday stay only in the 50s. Rainfall amounts generally about a quarter to a half inch of rain, but there could be heavier amounts in excess of an inch and some thunderstorms. 7 to 10 day forecast, though, calls for those temperatures to kind of yo-yo up and down. We'll see some 60s, we'll see some 70s in there. There'll also be some shower and thunderstorm chances, but a lot of it will just depend on the timing of when those showers and storms gradually work their way on through. As we go ahead and take a look at the first alert traffic here, we'll have to zip by this. For some reason, our computer seems to be locked up. There we go, first alert traffic. Slowdowns on the Beltline in the eastbound direction. This is the view from the DOT camera at Park Street. Right now, the eastbound direction, generally between about Monona Drive and Verona Road, slow down. 39 minutes going eastbound on the Beltline from University Avenue to the interstate, 17 minutes back in the westbound direction. Heading out of Madison about normal times, almost a half hour to Janesville from the Beltline on I-3990, 20 minutes to Sauk City on US 12, and 17 minutes to Sun Prairie on US 151. That's your first alert traffic.
All right, Gary, thanks.
Sure. Still ahead on News 3 at 5, Amazon employees are set to get a raise, and that's not the only company increasing employee pay. We'll explain after a short break.
News 3.
Amazon is raising the minimum wage for all of its workers.
And that's not the only retailer that's paying employees more. Meg Oliver explains.
Hundreds of thousands of Amazon workers are getting a raise. The company is pushing its minimum wage to $15 an hour, giving many employees up to $5 an hour more. Amazon Senior Vice President Dave Clark shared the reaction of workers at a fulfillment center near Los Angeles. The raise also applies to workers at Amazon-owned Whole Foods.
We're really excited to raise our national minimum wage to $15 for all employees, full-time, part-time, seasonal associates.
The federal minimum wage is $7.25 an hour, but many states have passed laws setting a higher minimum, and businesses are also starting to offer more.
The unemployment rate is near an 18-year low. We now are seeing 200,000 jobs on average created every single month.
CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger says that's forced companies to compete for workers. Walmart announced earlier this year a minimum wage increase to $11 an hour. Costco is paying employees $14 an hour, and Target says it will raise its minimum to $15 an hour by 2020.
It's really hard to find employees. Right now, the labor market is incredibly tight.
For years, labor groups and fast food workers have protested to reach $15 an hour. Amazon welcomes others following its lead.
We're hopeful that other companies and that the government will take action increasing the minimum wage beyond $7.25, which we think is too low.
About 250,000 Amazon employees and 100,000 seasonal workers will receive the pay increase starting November 1st. Meg Oliver, CBS News, New York.
Stay with us. We'll have another check of your forecast in just a moment.
Check it.
Tonight on the CBS Evening News, David Martin will have more details on the ricin sent to the Pentagon, how the poison was detected and where it went. And these veterans are trying to save coral reefs and themselves. Tonight on the CBS Evening News.
And some summer-like warmth on the way tomorrow.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it right now. Our temperatures are in the middle 50s, right 55 right now in Madison. But tomorrow we could be into the upper 70s, low 80s in some spots. So there's a severe weather threat tomorrow evening as a cold front swings through and a line of thunderstorms sweeps through. Slight risk of severe thunderstorms over much of southern Wisconsin. Then we turn cooler again for Thursday, highs around 58, and then off and on rain chances through much of the next 7 to 10 days with temperatures in the 60s. Alternating with 70s for a couple of days, then back to the 60s.
More updates in 30 minutes on News 3 at 6. The CBS Evening News is next. Stay tuned.